All right, we are back. The one and only, and I say it, one and only OSB Sports Podcast Show. I am Scott Matthews. Another huge action-packed week, and I am joined by my two co-hosts, the one and only, here he is, guys, the Big Kahuna. Also, the CEO of the Sports Profits, Mr. Teddy Brooks. What's up, guys?
Glad to be back, Scotty and Tommy.
Excited, week 4. Bring it on.
I don't know if I'm excited, guys. I got my ass handed to me last week with games, so I can only be on the improve this week, and I've been doing my homework already, so I'm looking at some games. We'll talk about that later in the show, obviously.
You and Coach Prime have something in common.
I don't know who felt worse after Saturday, myself or Coach Prime, because we both were dejected, that's for sure. What'd you think of that debacle, Teddy?
I thought it was interesting. So we'll go ahead and switch up the order yet, and we'll show this Oregon pump-up video, producer, if you're able to do that, because that was a interesting, fun thing to see.
When they talk, you don't say
This is the Oregon coach.
You talk to thieves. You talk to your helmet.
That's Deion's son talking smack.
Everybody's tired of hearing about and that's going to show up on the football.
The Cinderella.
I like when he's in the locker room. They have that.
Does that all mean something to you? Does that all mean something to you? Yeah, I sure as hell means something to me.
Hey, I like to report a crime to the murder to these ducks.
Different culture. Power of unity. Different brotherhood. I ain't ever seen.
I got some chills watching this. I know it's only week 3 or 4. I got some chills.
I love the part when the coach said, we're in it for wins, they're in it for clicks.
Yeah, that was
classic.
That was earlier in the week.
Those are fighting words.
And then my favorite part of this whole video is Bo Nix after the halftime. At halftime, you'll see it here in a second. That's Bo Nix right there, transfer from Auburn. And if you've been following my videos, I've been pumping him up for years. When he was at Auburn, I was betting Auburn, and
he's huge.
He's going to be big.
What did he throw for? Like 81% in that game? Pass completion? He had like 81% of his passes he completed.
I think he scored 3 or 4 touchdowns, and I was talking about it last week. He needed to have one of those games because before that he had 2 touchdowns a game around there, and he needed to show out, and he did. And
58 points a game, man.
He upped his NFL stock with that game right there, for sure.
Definitely. What'd you think, Tommy? I know you've been jumping all over Coach Prime, as you were saying earlier.
As Coach Prime said, they got an old-fashioned butt kicking.
Yep.
And but he did sell like $10 million in sunglasses on that conference, so I'd like to see if I could buy stock in that company possibly.
Well, I'll tell you what, he might be sitting on the toilet again this week because he's coming against probably another juggernaut with USC marching right in there. The Trojans this weekend is a 21.5-point favorite at Colorado. They could be getting their ass kicked once again.
He could be like a 70s one-hit wonder band, you know, that came up with one song and that's
Milli
it.
Vanilli.
10cc.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go on and on.
Interesting line movement in that game because USC was like 24, 25-point favorites at one point. So I'm interested to see.
Was that an early number? Because I didn't.
It was, yeah, okay. It was early. But let's look at this. Let's look at this catch of the week. This Scotty.
This is great. I mean, this is there going to be anything better than this as the catch of the year this year in college football? Maybe even in the NFL. Ben, pull this up. This is dynamite. Gotta love it.
Everyone's comparing this to Odell Beckham's catch in his first year.
He must have had Stickum on his. Look at this. Wow. Awesome. Is that and there was a penalty. He got nailed too.
He got drilled. That's the difference.
And he held it.
That's the difference between that catch and Odell's catch.
You got to show me that one more time, man. I got to see that again. It's like, wow.
They're showing it real slow right here. Here you go.
Yeah, look at that. Look at this, guys. Wow.
See, Odell's catch, they didn't hit him. That catch, they hit him, and he still kept it.
I think Tommy used to do that back in the heyday, Tommy, when you were playing on the sidewalks in New York.
When I played touch football on Long Island in '75.
All right, guys, we got a big show. Seriously, we're here with some major football games. We got a huge Thursday night NFL game. Finally going to get a pretty decent matchup. We got the 2-1 Detroit Lions coming off a nice win against the surprising, I guess you could call it, Green Bay Packers, 2-1 at Lambeau. The current line on this game is, I believe Detroit is 1.5-point favorite in this game. I'm going to start with Teddy. Ted, any strong opinion on this Thursday night game? Because it definitely looks like an exciting matchup on paper.
This is a tough, close game. First of all, we have been perfect on Thursday night so far on this show.
You beat me to that.
I don't want to mess it up. This is a game where, Green Bay has a lot of youth. They got Jordan Love, he's young. They got rookie receiver Jaden Reed, rookie tight end. They got a second-year receiver in Romeo Doubs. Aaron Jones, I believe, is still not really 100%. The Lions, they had a little bit of a off week last week, but they held KC to 20 points, and I think we can't forget that. They still have Jared Goff. They still have Calvin Ridley, and I think I have to lean with the road slight favorite here. I would play them on the money line. They have a very strong defense, strong pass rush. Last week, bad on third down conversions, but overall, I like the Lions on this one.
Their defense showed up big time against Atlanta, who was 2-0 going into that game. Atlanta could not muster a thing in that ball game, not a thing on offense. Okay, well, we heard it from Teddy. He's leaning. Is that a strong play or is
it's a lean? It's a lean Lions.
Just a lean?
It's a tough game, but it's a lean Lions for sure.
All right,
Let's see what the line does in the next few hours here.
I know the Big Kahuna's been licking his chops on these Thursday night games. He's got a perfect record, I believe, just like all of us. What's your take on this Thursday night game between?
I'm going to agree with Teddy here. It's a lean. Green Bay,
Come on, guys, with these leans.
Well,
Come on, let's
listen,
step it up.
I'm not going to tell you to put
the hell's these leans?
I'm not going to say put your kids' college tuition on it, but no. Packers have been struggling a bit. They're 26 in rushing offense, 28th in rush defense. Lions have covered the last 10 against NFC opponents. They've won 3 straight against the Pack. I'm going to lean towards the Lions here on the road, -1.5. Packers, I think, are going to have to play a really good game. Once again, take Detroit -1.5.
Guys, I got to break the bad news to you. I'm crashing the party. I'm going against both of you. I think that the home dog is right in this game on a short week. Their defense is excellent. I think they're going to cause mistakes, and I think they're going to take advantage of it. They're finding ways. I don't know how they found the way. I'm still shocked about how they got past New Orleans. I actually had that game. We'll talk about that a little later on. But I think Green Bay at home is a dog in a spot like this. I think they're just not – they're overlooking them, and it's only a 1.5-point favorite. I like Green Bay at home plus the 2. I think they're going to come out right. I think Jordan Love has this team around him right now. They're motivated. They're finding ways to win. Their defense shows up. Yeah, they haven't been pretty on offense. I agree with both of you on that. But they find ways to win, and I think a turnover, a key mistake in this game is going to be a big difference. I like Green Bay at home in this game.
Yeah, and you can't discount Lambeau Field either. I mean, it's
as a dog too.
It's a lot of home field advantage there.
Well, we got a lot of big games to talk about on the show. I want to keep things moving. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Big Kahuna himself on Thursday. We got Friday.
I looked at these games on Thursday.
Go ahead.
And honestly, I don't see anything that sticks out. I mean, you got the NC State Louisville game there. I would definitely probably lean.
That's Friday. That's Friday.
Excuse me. To skip to Friday, I would lean towards Louisville over NC State. I have a lot of big plays lined up for Saturday and Sunday, so I'm going to throw it back to you guys.
Okay. Anything you're looking at in college football Friday night?
Oh yeah,
or Thursday.
This is not a lean. I am licking my chops at this one. Utah faces Oregon State, 2 top 25 ranked Pac-12 teams. You have Utah, who beat UCLA last week.
Oh, is that ugly?
You have Oregon State, who lost to Washington State last week. But let me tell you something. Utah, Cam Rising is still questionable. We don't know if he's going to start or not. Their RB1's out for the year. He's been out. Their RB2, Jaquindon Jackson, is now, they're saying, and he had 100 and something yards against UCLA. They're saying he's out. Their tight end is out. And Oregon State, yes, they lost to Washington State last week by a few points, not much, but Oregon State has Washington State has Cam Ward, and Utah has nothing of the sorts close to Cam Ward. Cam Ward has 1,400 yards, 81% completion, 13 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. That's who Oregon State went against Washington State last week. Utah comes into Oregon. I think it's in Bend, Oregon, where they play.
All right.
And Oregon State covers this one. The line's like 2.5, 3.
Big bounce back for Oregon State this
Big
week,
bounce
you're saying?
back, Oregon State at home.
I'll tell you what, Utah looked terrible last week anyways. I mean, they were lucky to win. They scored on the first play of the game on an interception by the rookie quarterback for UCLA. Other than that, they did absolutely shit in that whole entire game. So now they're going against the buzzsaw that can put up a lot of points at home. So you might have the right move on. I'm not touching that game, but I am definitely looking at a game on Friday. Anything you looking at Friday night in college football?
Well, I mentioned Louisville minus
Louisville?
the 3,
Okay.
over NC State.
That's it?
That's it.
All right. Anything on Friday night you have interest in?
The floor is yours, Scotty. Let's hear it.
Okay, well, look at this matchup. This is a pretty interesting matchup. You got Louisville, that's a perfect 4-0, and they've been playing really, really well, actually dominating, crushed Boston College, but figured Boston College probably have a big letdown after that very close loss to Florida State the week prior, but Louisville put up 56 on them. NC State's playing decent ball, 3-1 right now. I'm going to go with the big kahuna on this one. I would take Louisville on the money line. I would lay about the $1.45 on the money line. I think just making that game an even play. I like Louisville a lot. I like the way they're playing. I like the way their program's moving in the right direction right now. And I would definitely jump on Louisville money line play for Friday night. That's the only game I see during the week, other than the Thursday night NFL game that I like. But we got a big time weekend. Anything you want to talk about before we get into the big weekend of college and NFL?
Yeah.
I know you like to talk about things, so.
Yeah, we had this video of Mad Dog
the clip
on
again,
ESPN.
huh? All
Now,
right.
he got the pick wrong. So he picked Colorado last week. He got the pick wrong. But let's look at this guy's Saturday routine.
I love Mad Dog.
His Saturday routine's amazing. I can't do that because we're all working hard for you guys on Saturday, so we can't really enjoy our Saturdays the way some people can. But producer Ben, let's see this Mad Dog Saturday clip here.
For 5 years.
And that's what you said.
In 5 years, he lived in it. He was up there when they were doing the smoke to see who the next priest was. That was him, the next pope.
No.
Anyway, to make a long story short.
No, tell everyone what you told us this morning, what you're doing this weekend.
Here's what I'm doing this weekend.
Listen to what
The
he's
missus,
doing this
the missus
weekend.
is away.
Mad Dog.
My
Ah, the
missus-
wife's
my
not home.
Flagstaff, who's coaching Northern Arizona. I told you basketball.
Yep.
So the missus is away. Be lousy weather. Right?
It's going to be lousy in AZ?
No, it's going to be lousy
here,
rain.
yeah.
So I can't get my golf for tennis in. My little tennis
Yeah,
shirt.
yeah.
So I am going to, I'll get a run in. I'll take the 2 dogs, Bo and Riley, for a walk. At about 12 o'clock, sit down, make an early cocktail, cut a gummy in half.
There you go.
Cut a gummy in half. Keep listening. Cut a gummy in half. We got Florida State Clemson. I like the Florida State quarterback. I'll do something there. At about 3:25, when I'm sauced, and if I'm not driving in the house,
Wow.
3:25, I'll put the call in to Fat Rob, 718-504. I'll put the call in to Fat Rob. Rob, you know what? What the hell?
He's talking about the
I
old
can't
school
look forward
bookie
to
that he has. This is a great clip.
Pretend on TV. Put 10 dimes on Colorado. It's probably Colorado and Dion. Let's win the game. So by 3:25, I'll be sitting down with my shorts, little T-shirt, cocktail. I'll have the other half of gummy.
Oh, you
I was
saved
just going to
the
say, he's going to have to take the
A
other
lot
half.
of- a lot of cocktails
Yeah.
after watching that Colorado
After
game.
losing 10
Yeah,
dimes
yeah,
on
yeah.
Colorado.
All right, I
All
get
right.
the point.
Yeah, we get the point here. But yeah, that's a fun Saturday, maybe one day. But it's never fun losing 10 dimes on a blowout. That's for sure.
Oh, I love Mad Dog. He tells it the way it
You
is.
think
that's for sure.
you think you really bet 10 dimes though, or is he
I
just?
do.
Yeah, why not?
I mean,
he makes money.
Makes a couple of million a year.
I do. I
Mad
think he
Dog?
bet 10 dimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he tells it the way it is, Mad Dog.
Yeah.
I don't think he
Right.
sugarcoats it. All right, well, listen,
gummy.
that's Mad Dog. These dogs right here who are working on the weekends, like we say, busting our asses from morning, noon, and night, trying to find winners for you guys out there. to take advantage of. We're going to go into a huge weekend of games. We're going to start with the Saturday slate, and I like a couple of games, but I'm going to throw it over to Teddy and see if I could get this guy. Come on, guys. Don't give me these leans, damn it.
Well, no, Oregon State wasn't a lean. Oregon State's a heavy play. Oregon State's probably my favorite play of the week, actually.
Saturday,
okay. So
what do we got?
There's an old saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So this is a game of trash. Utah State versus UConn. Utah State 2-4 against the spread in the last 6. UConn 1-5 against the spread in the last 6. Neither of these teams are very good. But Utah State, they can put up some points, 37 points a game. They put up 21 against an Air Force defense that's given up like 13 a game besides that.
Playing great ball, Air Force.
Yeah, playing very good ball. The interesting thing about Utah State is they have a 4-quarterback rotation that they're using. It's hard to get things done with a 4-quarterback rotation, but the offense is still getting the job done. They're 44th in total offense, yardage, and points. They are 23rd in points per game. UConn's offense is ranked second to last, and their defense is ranked like 1/10.
What's the current line on that game, on who's your choice in that game?
It's either 6 or 6.5, depending on where you're looking. I'm seeing it at BetMGM for -6. I'm taking -6 on this one. I don't even feel the need to buy a half a point here. I think they win by a touchdown. If you see it go up to 7, then maybe buy it down to 6.5.
You like Utah State?
Utah State on the road.
On the road, -6 points. All right. Anything else before I move over to the Big Kahuna?
That's my pick for Saturday. Let's hear what Tommy has to say.
You have a best bet for Saturday?
I wouldn't say it's the best bet, but I'm going.
Come on, Big Kahuna.
I'm going against the public sentiment here. Let's talk USC, Colorado. Personally, I think Coach Prime has seen his prime.
You and Coach Prime, man.
Now they're going up to the big leagues. Oregon basically kicked their butt 35-0 at halftime. The line has moved down to 21 points. I think USC blows out Colorado. They are 16-0 straight up, USC against Colorado. Last year, if I'm not mistaken, at USC, 55-17. All right. I just think Colorado's not ready to play these type of caliber teams.
All right.
I'll buy it down to 20.5. Take USC -20.5 to cover. It's a 10 o'clock game in Colorado, Mountain Time, 12 noon Eastern Saturday.
All right. You're looking for Caleb Williams to throw for 500 yards and blow out Colorado, maybe the same as
tough to bounce
Bo
back.
Nix did last week.
Tough to bounce back after a beating like that.
Okay.
And I think USC prevails.
That's it for Saturday?
I have one other game on Saturday.
Saturday only?
Yes, Saturday only.
Okay.
Nebraska, Michigan. Michigan 0-3-1 against the spread this year.
Yep.
I see this as a low-scoring affair. Believe it or not,
Okay.
you can grab 17.5 points you could grab right here with Nebraska. I see Nebraska covering this number plus the 17.5, low-scoring affair in my opinion.
All right, before we go, I gotta put the pressure on you. What's the best bet for Saturday?
Best bet, I would take Nebraska plus the 17.5.
Okay, you heard it. Big Kahuna, Nebraska, Cornhuskers. It's
you
going
go.
back to the old school days when Nebraska and Michigan used to. Those were top program. Well, Michigan is a top program in the country right now. All right, guys, listen up. I got a couple of huge plays I'm putting out in college football. It's called Bounce Back for SM Picks this week, right now. I am going to jump all over the Florida Gators.
Wow.
Going to Kentucky. Kentucky's 4-0. They will lose their O this week. I like the Gators in this spot. They're playing better ball. Just came off a huge win. I don't think Kentucky is going to be ready for a team like this. They can move the ball, obviously, on the offense. They got a great defense. And I think they're going to give Kentucky fits in this game. So I'm looking for the Gators as a live dog. I'd get that line to +2 or better. Remember what we tell you. We do these shows days in advance. We're shooting 3 to 4 days before any games. If lines change, guys, move the lines to the best prices. Don't take the prices we're telling you now. For an example, I'm telling you Florida +2. If this line goes up to +3 or 3.5, obviously you want to get it at the better price. You don't want to take it at the price I'm telling you. If it's at 1 or 1.5, yes, you want to get it at +2. But that's my big play. I like Florida. And one other play I like Illinois playing against the Deadwood Purdue team right now. Purdue's 0-3 at home. They find ways to lose. They don't find ways to win. I think Illinois is going to come in this game. Right now, that line is about +1. I like Illinois +1 on the road. Again, here I am going with the Road Warriors again. I like Illinois +1 against Purdue. Purdue's 1-3. They've lost all 3 games they played this season at home. They won their only game on the road. But I like Illinois in this spot. Those are my 2 best bets. I'm rating these games both at 10 units, which is top unit plays for me on both these games for Saturday. And that's it. It looks like we're done with Saturday. Anything before we jump into the NFL on Sunday?
Well, to segment into the NFL, we'll talk about line changing.
Okay.
And my biggest play of the week last week,
Me too.
the Jags, right? So I was all over the Jags. The line, moved from 8, 8.5, all the way to 9 at one point. So I was all over that game early in the week. I woke up Sunday morning and I saw that the line was back at 7. I didn't go big on it, and I didn't advise my private clients to go big on it. So this is important, guys. When you're watching these videos, or just for your own handicapping in general. Some people would disagree with me here, but this is my method. When I look 2 hours before game time and I see a line do that, especially on a favorite. So if I see a favorite that's -8, -8.5, and that thing moves down to 6.5, 7, I'll probably just stay away from that game because it's a bad sign. There's sharp money coming in on the other side. Usually.
Or a play could be out. They're holding a player out.
Right. You got to check. For example, if it's a total and you see the line drop a lot, you got to check the weather report. If it says that it's raining, that's why the line dropped. If it's a spread, like Scotty said, you got to check the injury report. If the injury report has not changed, chances are there's sharp money coming in on that game. So sharp money came against the Jags. I laid off the Jags. Sharp money came on the Texans. I laid off the Jags in that game, and it did us well. And then the other way around, which I know Scotty was on this play too, we're going to talk about this,
Yep.
New Orleans.
Oh.
I was digging New Orleans at +2 the night before.
Yep.
Wake
Even
up
early in the morning, it was
Yeah,
+2.
it was
It changed
early.
like around 11:30, 11:15 in the morning.
2 hours before game time, sharp money came in on New Orleans. They moved to -1.
Yep.
I played it again on the money line. Now, here's the thing with that one. That was a winning pick. The game lost. New Orleans lost by a point, but Derek Carr got hurt in that game. If Derek Carr stays in that game, they were winning 17-0.
Well, they missed that field goal at the end,
They missed the field goal at the end. That
40-yard
could have got
field
the
goal.
job
Come
done.
on.
Derek Carr stays healthy. That gets the job done. They were winning 17-0 at halftime.
Dominating.
Blowing them out. Derek Carr gets hurt. Green Bay comes back. For financially wise, it's not a win, but on paper, that's
It was a good
correct,
middle, though.
That's a correct
It was
pick.
a good middle for people, right? You could have middled that.
If you middled it properly.
If you
Yeah.
middled it all through the week,
If you middled it properly.
you
But
cut both sides.
yeah, but that's watch those line movements and maybe just even if you're not going to stay away, maybe lighten up the bet a little bit if you see that line doing something funny at that last hour or two.
I got a question for you. I don't know if you're into something like this, but let's say a game's a close line, like a -1.5 or 2, and then it flips. I mean, and you can catch both sides. Would you try for that kind of middle? Like, let's say earlier in the week, like that game, for example, Green Bay was -2, right? And then before the game goes off, it went to 1.5. So you got like a 3-point middle. Is it worth you take a shot, right? You got nothing to lose. You got both sides, and you got to
So you're saying if you bet Green Bay at -2 early in the week,
and then you played New Orleans -1.5 before the game went off. You got at least a 2, right? 2
or
point.
New Orleans on the money line,
Well, you don't even have to play me if you.
-1.5.
You're trying to middle
right.
it. Yeah, you want the points.
So you have 3.
You ever
With-
do stuff like that or no?
With the NFL, yeah, because the NFL lines are so sharp.
Right.
Right. I mean, with college, I think it's a little bit more risky.
Yeah, definitely.
With the I wouldn't do it with basketball, but with the NFL, these NFL lines are razor sharp. You can do a lot of stuff like that. A lot of teasers, which when we go to Sunday, I'll talk about a teaser that I like. I think teasers and middling in the NFL more so than any other league is great.
That's
Absolutely.
when multiple books come in, because I don't know if they're going to let you put in
Well, you
bet
need
on the
multiple channels,
You
yeah.
need multiple channels.
Yeah.
That's why we
well,
keep
not
on
really.
saying.
You could bet it both ways, though, if you bet it earlier in the week.
Some books may restrict that, but
True.
you'd be surprised. But it's best to have.
Not a bad strategy, though, if you can get a 3-point medal.
You need a decent spread to do that. You don't want to do just 1.5 points.
No.
Yeah.
But -2 one way and plus 1.5 the other. So
Professional bettors do that constantly. Arbitrage. it's
Arbitrage
called.
betting.
There
Yep.
you go. Yeah, it's sophisticated stuff, but it can work.
Well, you know, this NFL is a little nuts right now. I think I got a call the other day. They're looking for you to possibly Big Kahuna to start quarterback for the Jets. I mean, they're sick and tired.
yeah.
They're sick and tired of Zach Wilson. Joe Namath reached out to me. He asked me, "Is Big Kahuna available, maybe to come into play?"
We're in negotiations
What's going on
as
there
we
with the
speak.
New York Jets?
Jets are made. But I just wanted to throw one thing out about sports betting, because you know I'm on top of this. Sports betting goes live tomorrow in Kentucky. 6 a.m. Caesars, DraftKings, BetMGM will be live. A lot of people were crossing the border to Ohio to bet. If you're in Kentucky,
Tennessee, they were going to Tennessee also.
now you guys in Kentucky, you could play right mobile. So
I love it.
I wish
Well,
everyone
they had
luck.
retail. They already had retail, I think, for a short period of time. I could
Right.
be wrong about that.
Now it does go mobile, 6 a.m. tomorrow, and then the major books will be there.
So, quick story. You mentioned Joe Namath. My grandfather, he was living in Hollywood, Florida, and they were doing a movie, and Joe Namath was in the movie, and they grabbed him and my grandmother to be an extra, and he ended up hitting it off with Joe Namath, and they started to hang out together because they're both from the Pittsburgh area originally. So
Broadway Joe, baby.
My grandfather used to party with Joe Namath back in the day.
Wow.
Interesting
You
stuff.
must have saw a lot of wild stuff going on.
Yeah, they were.
'Cause he was the man back in the day.
They were in the back of limos together. He told me some stories that I'll save for another day.
Talk about a guy that had anything to his disposal back in the day. I mean, from women to anything he wanted to get into any places, Broadway Joe Namath.
Yeah, he was the biggest name in football for a long time.
And he played the role great.
Yeah.
I mean, he played the role great. Nobody played it better. You know, I got to talk about a team that's right here in our backyard. Is there anybody that's more impressive, any team in the NFL that's more impressive than the 3-0, believe it or not, Miami Dolphins? Is it amazing what they've done in the first 3 weeks of the season? What's your take on this, Ted?
My take was I actually had the Chargers week 1, and then after I saw that game, I was sold on Tua and the Dolphins, and I've been betting on the Dolphins ever since. And you helped me out with that, Scotty, because I know you were on the Dolphins on this show the first 2 weeks. Now, here's the thing. Last week, that line was the weirdest line ever. -6. Like, I was looking at that line, and I said, there's something wrong. Is this a trap line? What's going on? Why are they not 10, 12 point favorites?
Exactly.
But just incredible stuff. Tua, I think, moved to the favorite or second favorite to become MVP now.
Yep, he moved right up.
Mike McDaniel's odds of being coach of the year, crazy. They were talking about parlaying Tua MVP, Mike McDaniel's coach of the year. Could be an interesting parlay. Parlay that with the Dolphins to win the Super Bowl, and you're just
They
riding.
got a big task this week, though, because Josh Allen, after the horror show on his first Monday night game, has come back with 2 stellar performances, and now he's at home, probably sitting there licking his chops, waiting to showcase against the Dolphins. So that'll be interesting. What's your take? I mean, I know you got a lot
Talking
of...
about putting up a statement, 70 points. Now, if they would have got 3 more points, if I'm not mistaken, it would have been an
all-time record.
I think he showed a little respect to the Denver organization.
You can't stick it.
McDaniels, he's a classy guy. But he definitely put out a statement. Yeah, they're a team to reckon with. Let's see what happens going through the season. But I'd say they got a damn good shot of winning their division.
It's all about health.
Yeah,
They got to stay
exactly.
healthy.
That's what it comes down
This
to.
is going to be the game of the week, though.
Well, if you guys heard what I said before the season started, I said I thought the Miami Dolphins had a big shot to win that division and have a big shot to get far into the playoffs. So far, so good on my take on it, and I think they have a big shot. They look really, really good. All right, listen, we could talk about the Dolphins. We could talk about things all day long. Let's get into our...
Real quick.
Okay.
Who gets benched first? Which Wilson gets benched first? Russell Wilson or Zach Wilson?
I think they both go out at the same time. It's like a duet. Yeah.
All right, let's get into these games.
I don't know, man. But I'll tell you what, Zach Wilson, he's not gonna be able to deal with that crowd. They're looking to rip his ass right out of there.
Yeah,
they don't want to. I don't know what they're gonna do. I really don't. That's a very unusual situation.
They just signed Trevor Simeons.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens there. But and then of course Kaepernick.
And Russell Wilson, Jesus, what happened to him since he left Seattle? I don't know, man. He fell apart.
They could put an ad on Craigslist. Look for a quarterback. You don't know who you could find.
Nowadays, you never know exactly.
Ever since Russell Wilson started dating the R&B singer.
Married to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, listen.
All right. Well, listen, let's get into our big plays for Sunday because I definitely have a couple I'm liking for Sunday. Let's start it off for you. Do you have a best bet?
Well, I got a best bet, but let me look at this AFC matchup, 1 o'clock start. Ravens, Browns. I think the line is 1.5. Totals 40.5. I see this being a real defensive battle here. I think the line is pretty low, the total line. And what I'm going to do, I'm not going to play the point spread. I'm going under 40.5. Cleveland Ravens. I just see this being an old-fashioned AFC battle. I like the under in this one.
Let me pull that up. 40.5's the total. The current spread on the game is Cleveland is -3 at home.
Oh, it went up. It went up then. Excuse me.
Okay.
But total under 40.5 is my pick for the 1 o'clock game, and I do have a 4:25 game that we could talk about, which is
Let's
my
talk
best.
about it right now.
All right, talking about the Jets. You know, I hate to say it, when they're down, you got to kick them. Jets are totally an organization that has no plan right now. Chiefs 8.5-point favorite. They are playing in New York. I don't care. Jets are not going to score points here on this one. I'm going to lay the 8.5 with KC to totally blow out the Jets at home and get embarrassed in front of their fans. Unfortunately, KC is a powerhouse. I think they're going to smell the blood, and they're going to go for it against the Jets.
Current line, by the way, is 9.5. So
it's moving up. All right.
Yeah, check those numbers. All right, let's go to the man himself, Mr. NFL, Teddy Brooks.
Yeah.
Anything cooking on Sunday?
You know, my history shows I'm really Mr. College if you look at my last 5 years, not Mr. NFL, but hey, let's try it. So
Yeah, I'm trying to help you out.
I'm looking at a teaser this week. If you guys don't know what a teaser is, I'll keep it simple because I posted a couple teasers and I gave some of my clients teasers, and a lot of people don't know what a teaser is.
It's old school stuff, really.
So a teaser is when you take two selections on the point spread and you bet them together, but instead of getting paid 2.5 to 1 like a parlay, you get paid 1 to 1, and you can move each line either 6 or 7 points, depending on your sports book, depending on how much you want to pay for it. So for this teaser that I'm looking at here, I'm looking at this Cowboys game, and realistically, I want to get the Cowboys down to basically even money. They're 7-point favorites at home against the Patriots. The Patriots, they did come victorious against the Jets last week. They didn't really get it done against the Dolphins, but they did hold the Dolphins to their lowest score so far this year. So the Patriots
have a decent defense.
They have a decent defense. They have a strong. I mean, it's still Bill Belichick, right? I know Tommy thinks that.
He's gone.
Good old Bill.
Tommy's got it written off to the wayside.
Tommy thinks Bill's getting fired after this year, but I don't think so.
Well, if he has a good year, he won't get fired.
Bill controls his own destiny in New England.
This defense is 4th best in yards allowed per play, and that's playing against the Dolphins and the Eagles. So that's impressive there. The Cowboys, on the other hand, I think 7 points is a lot for them. That's why I like them on the teaser. I think they win the game. I think they bounce back against that terrible performance last week against Arizona.
Who would you put them with in the teaser?
I'm going to put them with the under. I'm going to put them with
game.
I'm going to put a same game teaser.
Okay.
The Cowboys gave up 7.4 yards per rushing play last week. Not good, but it was the first week that Trayvon Diggs was out. I think they watched some film. I think they get used to Trayvon Diggs being out, and I think they make some improvements. What's happening?
No. Explain to the people, though, exactly what the points. So when you're saying play it to the under and the Cowboys,
right? So here's what's going to happen.
43 and explain.
So the Cowboys -7 is now going to become Cowboys pick'em. They just have to win the game.
The 7.2 team teaser.
7.2 team teaser, and the 43 is now going to, or the 43.5 is now going to become 50, and it has to be under 50. So essentially what has to happen is the Cowboys have to just win the game, and the total score has to be under 50.
And if you hit both of those, you cash your bet. It's a double. It's a double. Double your money. So
Yeah,
if
it's
you
just
bet
a
100, you
1-to-1.
get back.
Even
but you
money.
think you got to lay 130 on the juice on those.
And then, well, is it 120 on a 7 and
No,
110
it's
on a 6?
It's 130. It's 6, 6.5, and 7. Most books have. So the 6 is 110, the 6.5 is 120, and the 7 becomes minus 130. So you'd have to put up 130 to win 100 on the 7-point teaser.
So you see where the line's at, because you want the I mean, even if the Cowboys are -1, it's pretty much the same thing. So you're okay there. So if you want to save a little money, maybe go 6 instead of 6.5 instead of 7, or
Are you a
6
big fan of those?
teasers?
Yeah.
It goes back to the arbitrage type of betting that you were talking about. In the NFL, I like teasers. In no other sport do I play teasers.
Like on your players you deal with personally, because you have your own private service working with guys direct. Do you recommend teasers to them?
Once in a while, yeah.
Okay. What about you?
Couple a month.
I find
Couple of
the
months.
younger
Okay.
guys coming into this market, I never hear them mention teasers. It can be effective, but you really got to find the right game to apply teasers. Personally, I do not push them out.
Okay. But let's say you really like a game big time and you like a total or you like two games.
If you have anything that could give you extra leverage,
You're looking for the edge, right?
100%.
Okay.
100%. A lot of guys that work with local small guys may not be able to get them in. I would recommend a very good regulated shop that has all the offerings.
I remember, when as a young kid all the way up to years ago, I love teasers, at times. But now, like you said, it's an old school, past tense kind of thing.
It's an old school. And also remember, if and reverses.
Gives you an edge, though.
You don't hear that anymore. And if a reverse.
No, that's...
that's a real old school.
I guess so. All right, listen, guys, I got a couple of great plays that I'm looking at on Sunday. I want to give them to you. 2 best bets in the NFL. I'm going to go with Cleveland on the money line against Baltimore. I think Cleveland shows up again. I think they're at home. They're going to come up pumped up. Baltimore struggled last week. They played up and down. They lost the game, obviously, in OT to the Colts. But I think Cleveland at home is going to be a juggernaut this week. I think they're going to. I would play the game on the money line only. Forget the 3 points. Lay the extra price on the money line. Just make it an even line and jump on Cleveland. And another one, obviously, we were talking about these high potent offenses. I think the Dolphins and Buffalo score a shitload of points in this game between the two of them. I'd go over the 53 points. That's the number I'm showing on that game. And I think that could be a best bet because I could see both these teams scoring 4 or 5 touchdowns each. This could be one of those 35, 34, 28 type of games or whatever the case may be. But I think the number on this game is off, and I'm going to take that game to go over the 53 on the Dolphins-Buffalo. So those are my 2 best bets, and I'm rating both of those games as 10-unit selections. I'm putting out a lot of 10-unit plays, which is the top-rated online plays I put out. So there you go for Sunday on those. Anything else you guys? Go ahead.
Big bounce back week you're looking for here.
Oh, man, I got my teeth kicked in last week. I felt like, had a little sore jaw until a few days after Sunday.
I like bouncing back. I like the idea of pressing after you have a bad week because statistics show you'll correct and you'll come back and come stronger. The worst thing to do is after you have a bunch of good weeks, keep pressing harder because eventually you're going to have a slow week. So I like that.
You know what the problem is, though, that your clients get so spoiled by your winning that when you have a bad week, they think the wheels fell off the bus and you're no good anymore.
I'm dealing with the same thing on my free games right now. I had that crazy stretch. This last 10 days or so have been a little bit off on the free games, and I'm getting a lot of flack for it. I do have one more thing. I know you guys might not be big golf guys, but we have the Ryder Cup in Rome this week. It actually starts tomorrow, Thursday morning. You got to be up at like 2.
Rome is in Italy. Rome.
It's in Italy. Yeah, you got to be up at like 2 in the morning to watch
There's
this
a
thing.
Rome, New York, I believe.
So here's the thing with this Ryder Cup.
Not Jerome, Rome.
Yeah.
The 12 best American players versus the 12 best European players come to face each
Who
other.
are the captains for the U.S. on that?
Zach Johnson is the captain for the U.S. I'm not sure who the captain is for.
So is it 2 teams going against each other? Is that it? Or is it a bunch of different countries?
It's Europe and the United States. So it's all of Europe and all the United States. I mean,
it's a huge event.
Huge event in golf. It's very big. It happens. It's like the Olympics. It happens every.
And guys love betting it.
It's 2 years. Every 2 years. So 2 good bets on this one.
Okay.
Number 1, I like the USA to lift the cup. What that means is they can tie the matchups, but the USA won the last time. So if there's a tie, whoever won the last time lifts the cup. So USA to lift the cup minus 140, and I like Wyndham Clark to finish as the top U.S. rookie plus 260. He's the 10th ranked golfer in the world. He won a major this year. He's 22nd in putting average and first overall in putting percentage as far as one putts made. Like him to take down.
I think the big kahuna and I are a
part
little
of
lost
my
on that one.
ignorance in golf is Mickelson playing in the Ryder Cup.
So no, he's
Because I was going to say, I wonder who he's betting.
Mickelson. It's
right.
actually he's in.
I'll bet against him.
He's in recovery.
He
doesn't
lost $1
bet
billion,
anymore.
he said, betting.
We'll see.
I think it was 100 million. I don't
100
know.
million, excuse
Yeah,
me.
not a billion.
Well,
No, there's only one live golfer in this tournament. It's going to be Brooks Koepka, who's
I like him.
one of my favorite, if not
Yeah.
my favorite golfer.
Yeah,
he's from down here. Went to FSU.
He's a big Florida Panthers fan.
Hometown hero. Goes to the Panthers games. I'm a big fan. So I'm rooting for USA to lift the cup. Wyndham Clark to take top rookie. And I want to see Brooks to do the best. It's like plus 450 for him to pick up the most points. So I'm rooting for that one. I'm not betting that one, but I'm rooting for that one.
All right, you heard it here first. We don't the big kahuna and myself. We're not the guys to come to for golf, but Teddy's got his gauge on it, so I pay close attention, make notes on what he just mentioned to you. If you're interested in golf, that's take what he just said and maybe make a little money off it. All right, well, we had a great show. Teddy, got to ask you, how do the people find you? Because I know you work your ass off each and every day trying to get some quality winning over to them. So how can they locate you and find out about what's going on each and every day?
TikTok at the Sports Profits, Instagram _profits with an S at the end _pick, no S at the end. I know that can be confusing for some people. YouTube.com/at the Sports Profits. We got myself and Billy the Beard giving out selections every day. We're shutting down baseball for the regular season, waiting for the postseason to start. But
That's going to be exciting.
plenty of football action. We got to give some predictions when the postseason
I'm
starts.
jacked up for baseball. All right, Big Kahuna, where can the people find you? Actually, I shouldn't even say it like that with you.
where can't they find me?
Exactly. You're everywhere,
Right,
man.
Well,
I was at a bus stop the other day. Somebody came up to me. I don't even know why I was at the bus stop. I was walking by one, and they said, hey, what's the deal with the Big Kahuna? Where can we find this guy?
Well,
I mean,
I
he's everywhere.
appreciate the support. My website is you definitely go to onlinesportsbet.com, and we do have that odds comparison feed up there where you could check out 7 different sports books. So onlinesportsbet.com, Instagram, OSB _sports. I put out daily videos, YouTube, OSB-sports.
That it?
That is it.
Not in the yellow pages? Not.
That's old school stuff. Come
All
on.
right. There you go. Guys, we love what we do. You could see we're here each and every week, busting our asses, trying to give you guys some insights, a lot of different stuff, winning selections, things like that. Watch our show on all podcast forums. I don't know how to say it. Watch it on all podcast forums from Spotify to Apple, all the way down the line. My name is Scott Matthews. I host this show with these 2 great guys each and every week. Pay close attention. You can find me on TikTok at SMPicks. That's at SMPicks, Picks. Also on Instagram at SMSportsPicks, Picks. But check out everything we do. We're here to help you out. We're looking to give you the winning edge. And again, all podcast forums. Have a great day. We'll see you back here next week.
All right.
We were all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah?